Welcome back everyone. Now, I know I've done my fair share of model kits in regular and smaller scales, but when our YouTube manager asked me if I wanted to get a 16 scale tank, I couldn't pass the opportunity. So what that he took my soul? Who needs it anyway when you've got a huge RC tank to play around with? The vehicle in question is a Tongde Leo 2 A7 in 16 scale. It came mostly pre-assembled, but since I just have to tinker with it, I decided to repaint the whole beast and then test it out in the house and in the grate outside. Later on, I will probably do a second video to show you all how it holds up in the time and some more improvements I want to tinker with. Shout out for the guys and gals at Sterling Kit for providing the tank for a review. If you wish to take a look at their stuff, please follow the link in the description. First impressions I perceived. The kit is well packaged, survived the travel from China to the EU without any issues. Accessories are some BBs and a few parts that need assembly. It comes with a battery, 7.4 volt LiPo, installed, remote control has many functions but most need a combination of buttons. The paint job is, well, passable, but it will get repainted anyway. Detail-wise, it's quite nice for the scale and sheer size. The remote control needs some assembly as well, and 4 AA batteries are needed to be purchased separately. The infrared sensor needs to be installed on the turret roof, and the thing can't be hidden and the cable is not the sturdiest, so be aware of any possible issues with that. The charger is included as well. It's an USB 2 dongle and it charged perfectly fine from my PC. As for the functions of the kit, the remote has around 25 functions and this is a huge plus point for the sheer amount of them. Some of which include light switches, firing BBs, it also has a hop-up unit, and shots can be adjusted to BB weight for more accurate and further shots, sound effects, smoke effects, although smoke oil has to be purchased separately, speed settings, volume settings, turn radius settings, and brake settings. As for the visual and audio impressions, there's a lot of detail such as rivets, bolts, handles, tools, an MG3 for the turret, but they all seem quite exaggerated. The original paint job looks very plain, the desert camo just isn't the classic Leo 2 camo and it isn't too accurate either. The after shading effect on panel edges is quite nice, however, if that's your thing. Although the whole tank, beside the barrel, is plastic, it's still impressive and realistic looking. The light effects are a nice touch, but look out of scale in some weird way. The tracks are plastic but seem sturdy and the wheels have rubber tires. The starting sound effect and idle sound is awesome. During driving, the engine sounds get a tad bit overwhelmed by the electromotor screaming, and 2 MG sounds are available. The volume can be adjusted. As for the manuals and instructions, the whole thing is mostly written in bad English, but the pictures are nice and clear. I could figure out most stuff from the pictures alone, but there's definitely space for improvement on that side. The technical parts. The BBs are badly molded and also probably only 0.12 gram ones, and you can buy better ones at any airsoft shop. Drag saw can be adjusted, but no tools were given out of the box to do so. The USB 2.0 charger seems sketchy, but it did not burn down the house yet. I highly recommend the balanced charger for LiPo batteries. The top speed is advertised as 3 km per hour, but it's more like around 5. The plastic is not regular modeling material, so superglue will be needed for assembly, which is more brittle. The infrared thingy that goes on the top of the turret has a magnet, but it can't be attached to the tank because no surface is made from iron or steel on the turret. It is also fucking ugly, so I will probably cover it up with a tarp or something. Other notes include: the cats are scared shitless and the dog doesn't like it either. Now, let's get rid of that ugly mustard paint job and make this tank somewhat more realistic. I'm going for a modern pixelated camo as seen so often in the current conflict in Ukraine. Since Ukraine has gotten some Leo 2s, I think it's an interesting opportunity to recreate some current camo schemes. I'm spraying the base tone in AK Interactive's RC098 Modern Russian Green, which may or may not be accurate because I have absolutely zero knowledge of effects of the larger scale retoning some colors. Keep in mind that modern model paints usually are made for some smaller scale kits and behave to light reflection accordingly to recreate a true color scheme for smaller surfaces. If you plan to repaint a 16 scale tank, buy 2 or more bottles of paint of the same color. I diluted it heavily and around 2/3 of a 10ml bottle was enough. And do have plenty of space to paint. My usual modeling table just wasn't enough for well recorded footage here. As for the second color, the 3-tone pixel camo, I used AK's RC100 Russian Grey Green. The stencil was easily done by cutting up some frozen pizza boxes after measuring a square pattern on it with a pen. I tried to buy some pre-made ones, but no one actually makes 16 scale pixel camo stencils, or at least doesn't sell them here. But hey, just holding the homemade ones to the tank worked fine enough. There was some overspray, but that adds to the field applied look, so I'm fine with it. The third color of the camo is AK's RC071 Black 6RP. Same applies as with the Russian Grey Green, I just added it in smaller patterns and not as much of them. Easy peasy. I was however torn on whether to weather the tank or not, because the details are quite visible by default and don't really need pin washes or other things to highlight them. I decided not to add any weathering as the tank will be used in dirty conditions anyway, and what weathering could be more realistic than real dirt? This doesn't mean that I won't add some details though, as I found some photos of Ukrainian IFVs with these crosses and so-called Balkenkreuz as well. Seems fitting since the Leo 2 comes from Germany, plus some details can't hurt. I just painted them on with the number 1 brush. The paint I used is Citadel's White Scar acrylic, slightly diluted with tap water. Again, the tiny errors and mistakes make it look field applied, but stencils are working fine as well if you wish to create a sprayed on look. But enough with the boring paint upgrade. I will let you enjoy some action footage now. So, let's touch up some points regarding this huge RC tank. Is it perfect? No, but it does some things really well and others not so much. I don't have much knowledge about RC tanks in general, but I'm sure some more TLC would have gone a long way with this specific model of RC vehicle. Let's first talk about the small amount, but even more worrisome things that are due to the lack of checkups. I noticed some weird noises during the first test runs at home on laminated floor. I first ignored the noises as I thought the track sag was just too much for even terrain and put the tank back in the box. Once I tested it on the ground on dirt and gravel, the noise got worse and louder. The tank still took it like a champ and did its thing. Mostly. Except for turning in one direction as it should and not so much on the other side. This was due to the shaft of the drive wheel falling out of place in the gearbox. The washer that was supposed to fix the shaft in place just came loose during shipping or was never in its place since its short life so far. 20 minutes later the issue was fixed and the tank is now doing great. The other small issue I found was the ugly eye-air antenna, but hey, it has to exist. It would have been just nice for the manufacturer to hide it somewhat better. The most minor gripe was the paint job, but it came as advertised and I repainted it anyways. It honestly is a non-issue for me. Now the good stuff. The whole thing just made me smile and giggle like a 10-year-old child again. I just love this big beast. Even with the somewhat broken drivetrain, it handles sand, dust, dirt, gravel and grass without any major issues. The plastic tracks and wheels are working great. The sounds are amazing for such a small speaker. The details are well done, if somewhat out of scale at some places. Shooting BBs was cool, but it's more a neat little trick than any useful feature for, let's say, an RC tank simulated battle due to the small range. Then again, I couldn't adjust the hop-up unit before dismantling the tank completely, so bear that in mind. The operational range is big enough to enjoy the tank in some shade. The remote control is delicate enough to register minor adjustments to the steering. All the features such as the audio capabilities, smoke, BB shooting, independent movement for the turret and tracks are all a good deal for the package. I would prefer metal tracks and drive wheels, but until nothing breaks, the basic set will do fine. Would I buy this tank if I were totally into RC things? Hell yes. Would I do it just for the sake of having one big tank and model building wise? Probably not, but that's okay, it's a different ballpark. If you like driving RC vehicles and are in need of a medium budget tank, I'd say go order one. The plastic parts may break in the long run, but I don't think that will happen anytime soon, and the features make the price of around €240 a pretty good deal currently. I'm sure Sterling Kit will also help you out if some issues are present after opening the box. I hope this review was helpful and you enjoyed the video. Let us know your thoughts on this RC tank in the comments and ask any questions you may still have. Until the next time, and keep us in your sights.